Welcome to Cosmic Diaries. This is Priya Kale, your astrologer, and hello from New York. So I made it finally, and I've been settling in over the past week, admittedly with a severe jet lag, but here we are, and we're in the Gemini new moon cycle. This Gemini new moon took place on the 30th of May, and we're now looking at the astrology from May 30th all the way till June 7th, when we reach the first quarter of the moon, marking the halfway point between the new moon and the full moon. There are major developments taking place this week and shifts. Mercury, the ruler of this Gemini new moon, changes direction on the 3rd of June and followed immediately on the 4th of June by Saturn's retrograde station. Mercury and Saturn are currently in a square aspect to each other. So this is really setting the tone for this new moon cycle and seeding the energy of this new moon cycle, where we're turning a corner and there are mental shifts asking us to make adjustments and readjust our boundaries, perhaps take down walls that prevent progress as we start to see another side of a story. And we may even have second chances and a chance to turn back time and redo things to reshape reality in a way that really is more supportive of our goals. Later in the week, the Sun sextiles Chiron, suggesting there's healing on offer, and Venus and Mars make aspects to Neptune and Saturn respectively, minor aspects. And there's a need for discernment as we move ahead. So let me just get into the aspects day by day, and we'll see how it all unfolds. Also, I have written up the newsletter, which I'll be sending out shortly as soon as I post this podcast. But you can sign up at cosmicdiaries.com to receive that in your inbox for more astrological and other updates. But with that said, let's just dive into the week. We are now in this Gemini new moon cycle, and this officially closes out eclipse season. And we're in a brand new cycle. As you may have noticed, life is quite a bit different from what it was a month ago. 2 days before the new moon, Venus entered Taurus, and this is very sensual energy, fertile, creative. It invites us to slow down and indulge in life's sweeter pleasures, simpler pleasures. Given that we're just coming out of the Taurus season, where we've been putting in the hard work, now we can start to see fruits of our labor. And where things have felt a little raw, Venus can help us sweeten situations and show us what's really valuable and precious in situations and worth preserving even. Meanwhile, Mars is now in Aries, its home sign, and here Mars knows what it wants, and it wants it now. Just a day before the new moon, Mars made a conjunction to Jupiter, who is also newly in Aries. And there's a big, fiery, passionate aspect, firing up our desires. Jupiter is all about knowledge and benevolence, and abundance and expansion. With this aspect in Aries at the time of a new moon in Gemini, it's all about our curiosity and our willingness to ask questions and explore the world with an open mind, and explore our options with an open mind, and to be curious and ask questions rather than make assumptions and jump to conclusions, because we don't have the full story yet, and there's a lot that's coming to the surface this week. A new moon is always a time to go inward. With the new moon in Gemini, there are messages coming through, and with Mars' aspect to Jupiter, there are also profound insights that are coming through about ourselves. And at best, this new moon cycle is bringing a chance to grow in self-awareness. This aspect really is a reminder that to remain centered and aligned and authentic with and true to yourself, because when it comes to knowing what we want, yes, on the one hand, it's important to be clear about what we want, but on the other hand, do we really know what's good for us? If you know what you want, great, but if you don't know what you want, then that's okay. It's important that we allow that space, because it's the wisest to say, I don't know. If you're centered within yourself, then as the opportunities arise, you can reach for them. Or then to remain centered and aligned enough to know when something is not right for you. If anything, the recent eclipses have taught us that, what happens externally is rarely something we have control over, but we do choose how we respond to situations. And as we enter this Gemini new moon cycle with Mars conjunct Jupiter in Aries at the time of the new moon, and the new moon is also in a close sextile with Mars and Jupiter. There are huge opportunities arising, and we're learning that we have options. Explore your options by all means. There's a need for childlike curiosity to see the world with new eyes and with an open mind, rather than thinking you know it all, because there you can make valuable discoveries about yourself and the world around you. As the days progress and aspects progress, we'll see that there's also a need again for that self-awareness, so there can be ultimately discernment based on our individual priorities and values to make those wise choices based on the big picture, rather than hungering for something that we think will make us happy but ultimately is a hollow victory. So the new moon in Gemini, which was sextile Jupiter and Mars in Aries, but Gemini really is a sign that it's ruled by Mercury, and it represents the mind, duality, choices, all forms of communication, information, even transportation. So pay attention to where you have Gemini in your chart, because that's the area of your life that's being highlighted now. And these are some of the themes that we're going to be dealing with, especially our communication and how we express ourselves authentically matters now. Mercury, the ruler of Gemini, is currently retrograde in Taurus and stationing to a halt, and stations direct this week. So it's important now that we're not jumping to conclusions. A story is still unfolding, and as Mercury stations direct, there will be more information that's coming to the surface. Between the 30th of May, when the new moon aligned in Gemini, and the 3rd of June, there are no other major aspects taking place between planets. So this really is a chance to pause and listen to the insights that are coming through from within you, as well as what's slowly beginning to surface outside of you. A thoughtful approach will take you far, and patience is important as you enter the next few days. On the 3rd of June, as Mercury stations direct in Taurus, listen closely to the conversations you're having and the information that's surfacing, because there's a nugget of gold or something precious. You're learning valuable information, helping you to shift your perspective and see a situation and understand a situation on a deeper level and see something from another side. Really listen to and pay attention to your gut and take your time to process and digest what's coming through. This station takes place in Taurus, and Taurus likes to ruminate on things. So an idea might need, or information that's surfacing now, might need some time to really process and understand its implications. So move slowly as the insights come through, because there are choices that are also arising. And as much as we're exploring our options, there could be doors that are opening that were perhaps previously shut. Or as we understand a situation, we're able to find a new way around it, or a shift in perspective that allows us to turn a difficult corner. On the 4th of June, this is significant because just a day later, Saturn stations retrograde, and Mercury and Saturn are now in a square. So where we maybe have been steeling ourselves for a difficult conversation, this really is a chance to resolve this energy inward and to seek your inner authority. With Saturn's retrograde, we are restructuring and readjusting our boundaries and limits. A door that was previously shut may now be opening, or perhaps it's a chance to lower walls where previously we've been closed off to something. Look at where you have Aquarius in your chart, because over the coming months, as Saturn moves retrograde through this part of your chart, you're in a process of strengthening your foundations and recovering territory that you've been in since the 26th of February 2022, earlier this year, because that's when Saturn entered shadow phase. So between now and the 23rd of October, when Saturn stations direct, this is a chance to integrate the lessons of the recent past and to strengthen your foundations before you move ahead. Saturn will enter Pisces in March next year, and about at the same time, shortly after, Pluto will enter Aquarius. So be true to your integrity, and the more you learn the lessons of Saturn in Aquarius now, the easier will be the Pluto and Aquarius transit for you. Then Pluto and Aquarius can be a phase of deep transformation rather than feeling like the cracks are starting to show in something, or feel like things are falling apart and then trying to plaster over the cracks when really the foundation of something is not strong enough. So, Saturn in Aquarius is really about giving something good bones and good structure, and to readjust just our boundaries and limits and accordingly, given what we're building. This is also a chance to let go of the past. When you're having important conversations in or renegotiations, you can find the support that you need. But again, it's about honest communication and being able to communicate our needs honestly with humility, and not to create limitations for ourselves, to consciously release self limiting beliefs. Especially when Mercury is in its third and final shadow phase, everything is negotiable. But it's a matter of letting go of self limiting beliefs, learning from the past, looking for new solutions, and also remembering with Saturn, respect is important. So, with respect, you can disagree with someone but still have fruitful discussions where there's true understanding that comes out of it and strengthens a connection rather than tears it down. So, where there has been a breakdown in communication, or if there have been misunderstandings in the recent past, we can move towards healing now, but it's also a matter of taking responsibility for our own patterns of communication rather than pointing fingers and blaming others, and learning to communicate on an equal level, knowing our own limits rather than trying to enforce our limits and boundaries on others. So, this Mercury Saturn square really is seeding the energy of this new moon. So, we're going to be feeling this energetically over the next couple of weeks as we move to the full moon, and on a larger scale over the next 6 months. As we understand situations in a new light and as we learn important information, there's a way around a situation that we previously felt like we were being blocked. So, remain open minded. You can find the authority and your own voice to make choices in your life that really work for you, allowing you to draw in the support that you need. It's about making those conscious choices because your choices are shaping your reality. And although there may be many options, keeping the big picture in mind so you can make wiser choices aligned with an inner truth. Also, on the 3rd of June, just as Mercury stations direct, the Sun also makes an aspect to Pluto, suggesting there may be darker truths that are coming to the surface that we need to confront, which will ultimately, play into this Mercury-Saturn square where we're resolving, coming to perhaps difficult understandings, but finding a way forward. Just don't resent what's unfolding. Be grateful because, at the very least, this is a shift in perception, allowing you to regain your sense of authority and power to make choices in your life and to use what's surfacing to your advantage. Then on the 4th of June, as Saturn stations retrograde, and this 3rd, 4th of June, as you're moving through this energy, there may even be a sense of time standing still, of being able to see the past, present, and future. Learn from the past, but release any weight or burden that you've been carrying. The more you can integrate your lessons, you can make different choices to create a different reality. And everything you've learned, it's life ultimately. Your life is a journey. My life is a journey. And your entire life has led you up to this moment, to you even listening to these words. And there are no coincidences. So, the wealth of your experiences, it's important that you're tapping into this wisdom and integrating it consciously. Because then on the 6th of June, the Sun makes a sextile to Chiron on the same day as Venus semi-squares Neptune. So with the Sun sextile to Chiron, this really is a chance for deep healing. There could be healing conversations that we're having, or perhaps then we're coming to a deeper realization or deeper awareness. Words have the power to hurt or heal, so use yours consciously. And some of what's unfolding might be bittersweet, but again, it's all about self-awareness and your growth. So if you can consciously release any sense of disappointment or disillusionment, you can start to see a more sublime reality and your ability to create and shape your reality with your words and choices and deeds. Then on the 7th of June, we're reaching the first quarter phase of the moon, which is the first turning point from this new moon as we head to the Sagittarius full moon on the 14th of June. And any quarter of the moon is a chance for adjustments. Look back to what was playing out around the time of the new moon and the seeds you were planting then, the conversations you were having, the ideas that we were having. If your energy has been scattered, this is a chance to refocus and bring back your attention to what you're trying to grow and build. Because with the moon in Virgo, what's needed is a daily process of working at something to create and manifest an idea from an idea to something tangible in reality. On a personal level, this is a chance for healing communication and to closing a gap, a chance to close a gap within so we can heal a divide within. Then it will be easier to communicate with others from a place of oneness and truly wanting to understand another and commune with another rather than just speaking at each other. So also on this day, Mars is semi-square Saturn, which is again a chance to where we've been exploring our options and there may have been many choices that we've faced. This is a chance to really narrow down our focus and sharpen our focus and get real with ourselves about our priorities in our relationships and with our goals. Look at what we need to or what baggage we need to let go of, where we need to release a weight so we can start to make progress as we are today rather than letting the past define you or any sense of failure from the past define you. So take time around the 7th of June to really check in with yourself and be honest with yourself about what needs to be healed and what, if anything, needs to be fixed or worked or improved on, and how you can make better, healthier choices moving ahead. Next week comes with more revelations and surprises as Mercury trines Pluto, Venus conjuncts Uranus, bringing unexpected developments. Mercury returns to Gemini and we head to a full moon, a very revealing full moon in Sagittarius. So the revelations keep coming through and our journey certainly continues. For this week, as you enter this new moon week, move slowly. A lot is shifting. So keep an open mind. Look for solutions. Stay aligned, centered in the present, aligned with your values, and you can make wise choices. And of course, if you want to see how this is all playing out for you in your chart, do email me at priya@cosmicdiaries.com and we can set up a personal astrology consultation. I would love to work with you. But otherwise, I will be back with you again next week with more on the podcast. And I wish you all the blessings for this Gemini new moon. Till next time, this is Priya signing off from New York. Namaste.